Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. If that mockingbird don't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring. In the days of the Old West, there were a lot of towns that sprang up along the wagon trails just for the express purpose of outfitting those people as they traveled across. Everything was done in barter, and some very good trades could be made as people realized they didn't need Grandma's bureau as much as they needed sugar or flour. Hank ran one of these trading posts, and though he liked to make a good deal, Hank was also very honest. One day, just at closing, a woman came into Hank's store. She was wearing a long white dress and had long dark hair. And Hank could tell very quickly that she was unable to speak, and so he began to pull things from the shelves to offer them to her. No, she didn't need coffee. No, not seed, not flour. Finally, from a top shelf, he brought down a small tin of milk. Yes, that was what she needed. Well, Hank pushed it across the counter and began to try to figure out how to explain the barter system to her when she grabbed that tin of milk and ran out of the store, leaving behind a pair of pearl earrings. Well, Hank realized that those pearl earrings were worth way more than that tin of milk, and so he picked up the earrings and he went outside to explain this to the woman. But she was nowhere to be seen. Hank finally took the earrings, put them in the drawer, closed it up, and locked up his store for the night. The next night, just at closing, the same woman with that haunted expression upon her face came back into his store. She began gesturing toward those tins of milk. Hank took out the earrings and pushed them across the counter to her. No, she didn't want the earrings. What she wanted was the milk. Finally, Hank reached down that milk. He pushed that and the earrings across the counter toward her. She grabbed the milk and ran out of the store, leaving behind a pearl necklace. This was way too much for Hank. He picked up the jewelry, ran out of the store, and he looked up and down the street. The woman was nowhere to be seen. Well, he knew what to do, and he took the jewelry and he put it in the drawer and he locked up his store for the night. The next night, again, just at closing, this woman came in. She looked more desperate than ever, and she began gesturing toward those tins of milk. Hank took out the pearl jewelry. He pushed it across the counter. No, she didn't care about that. She wanted the milk. Finally, he pulled down the milk and he pushed all the items toward her. She grabbed up the milk and she ran out, this time leaving behind a garnet ring. Hank picked up that jewelry. He walked up the street. He walked down the street. He asked anyone he met if they had seen a woman matching this description, but no one had. Finally, a stranger came walking up the street. Hank went up to him and explained the situation. The stranger looked very serious. Yes, he knew a woman that matched that description. He was a wagon master, and his wagon train was camped just outside of town. He had come in that evening to see what his people could trade for the next day. A cholera epidemic had swept through his camp 3 days before, and he had buried a woman with a young child who matched that description. She had been buried with pearl earrings and a necklace and a garnet ring. No, Hank said, I didn't take these. I can prove this to you. We can ride out to that grave. You'll see I didn't take these things. The wagon master agreed that if Hank could find some fresh horses and some tools, that he would accompany him out to that freshly dug grave. Hank did. He found some horses, he found some tools, and with some hard riding they got out to the grave just as the sun was coming up over the mountains. They dug up that coffin. They lifted it out, and with a lever, they pried open the lid. Inside was the same woman who had been in Hank's store the previous 3 nights. A young child lay beside her. She was wearing no jewelry, but in the coffin were 3 empty tins of milk, and the baby was still alive. And if that horse and cart fall down, you'll still be the sweetest little baby in town.